Something Harley Race uses tremendously well, something he hasn't used until just recently, the standing pile driver. The referee makes the count, and the first fall went to the world champion, Harley Race. DiBiase badly stunned, but in the second fall, DiBiase took charge. He arm whips Race into the corner, throwing him in there, but Race comes off punching. Side headlock on the Missouri State champion. DiBiase lifts Race to the air and drives Race's knee into Ted's own knee. Spinning toe hold by DiBiase and into the figure four leg lock. The figure four leg lock by Ted DiBiase. Race realizing the damage that can be done with that crippling hold. Race trying to hang on, but knowing there's still another fall to go. Race submits, and the second fall went to Ted DiBiase. It was one fall apiece. Now, get ready for the third fall. Unbelievable action throughout the match. They have been going at it hot and heavy for close to half an hour altogether, and there's a body drop into the leg of Race. Race, knowing his knees are hurting, knowing he's in trouble, he has to stay away from that figure four at all costs. He has to find an opening. He wants that gold belt more than anything in the world. He's had it for over 4 years. He won't give it up unless he is broken. There's the spinning toe hold. DiBiase straining on it, putting pressure into that knee. Again, the spinning toe hold by DiBiase on Race, trying to make Race give up, but at least, if nothing else, to punish that leg, to soften the leg and make it a little bit easier if he can get the figure four on the world champion. Once more, DiBiase spins around with that leg, twisting the toe, the ankle, the knee. DiBiase, though, catches a punch to the face from Harley Race. Race would do anything to keep that gold belt. He's said it before, and he's proven it. He will do anything to keep the title. DiBiase and Race both staggering to their feet, feeling the wear and tear of this tremendous match. Race with the one-arm backbreaker, dropping DiBiase after the backbreaker. You can see the wear and tear on both men now. Race trying to get over and cover DiBiase. The referee gets down to make the count. DiBiase kicks out with all his strength and drops Race, all 252 pounds, across the back of referee Charles Venator. Venator stunned, the wind knocked out of him. Race comes to his feet. DiBiase sees Race, an easy target. Flying tackle, he misses. Race stepped aside, and DiBiase knocks Venator right out of the ring next to the announcer stand. DiBiase knocking the referee out of the ring with that flying tackle. Venator was on his back as DiBiase and Race slug it out right above the referee. Race ducks beneath DiBiase and throws him over the top rope, nearly on top of the referee. Venator saw it. That was where the disqualification came, but the referee, stunned outside the ring, was unable to make a call. Another referee, Lee Warren, saw the action from the back, saw the referee stunned, started making his way through the crowd. He didn't see what happened. And there's Race trying for the suplex. DiBiase behind him. Back suplex. Lee Warren not realizing the throw over the top rope. He gets down to make a count of 3. And everybody, almost everybody in that building at this point, thinks that Ted DiBiase is the world heavyweight champion. The place went berserk. Everybody standing and screaming. But then, as you can see, Venator had called for the bell just at the instant that referee Lee Warren made a count of 3. Myself, who I was doing the ring announcing, talking with the two referees, Venator explaining that he saw the man go over the top rope. He has no choice but to disqualify Race. That means, since the title cannot change hands on disqualification, that Harley Race will keep the gold belt. But nobody in that building really realized that. DiBiase exulting down on his knees. He's so happy, and Race just stunned, disbelieving, not knowing what had happened. The referee's trying to explain the situation now. Venator goes over and raises DiBiase's hand. Yes, he was the winner by disqualification. But Harley Race kept the gold belt because that's why it came. That pin did not count. We try to explain the situation to the fans. Race holding the gold belt up, staggering to the ropes, escaping with the gold belt by the skin of his teeth. Ted DiBiase in shock as he realizes what has happened. He realizes the disqualification came first, but in the heat of the battle, well, who stops to think about it? Who can think about something like that? All you know is you're in a battle for your life, a battle for the biggest prize in wrestling. And Ted DiBiase missing it by just a bit. What a bitter disappointment. Referee Venator trying to explain the situation to DiBiase, and gentleman that he is, sportsman that he is, Ted DiBiase knew it was the right call. He realizes it, shakes hands with the referee.
Pick a main event, a one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing from Indianapolis, Indiana, weighing 235 pounds, Spike Hubert. From Kansas City, Missouri, weighing 252 pounds, the world heavyweight champion, Harley Race.
The gold belt is handed to referee Chuck Rowley by the title holder, Harley Race. And Race squares off with Spike Huber. Spike Huber. What an opportunity for him against the world champion. Race lifts Huber. Body slam by the champion. Race right on top of Huber. Oh, small package by Huber. This could be it. He has him all tied up. Oh, at the count of 2, Race pops the leg out. And Race checking with the referee to make sure that he got out of there at 2 and not 3. Race, surprise, looking over. Spike Huber is quite a handful for anybody. He's been proving that, getting better and better every time out, getting a lot of main events throughout the Midwest. And he's deserving each and every one. The son-in-law of Dick the Bruiser. And he has obviously learned well from the Bruiser, although his tactics, I think you could say, are somewhat different. But he can get rough. He can duke it out if it comes to that. Side headlock by Race, but not for long. Huber with a hip toss. Oh, Race staggered. Huber lifts the world champion. Body slam by Spike on Harley Race. Side headlock. Down goes the kingpin. Count of 1, and Race lifts that shoulder off the mat. You know, of course, Harley Race had a bit of a scare, to say the least. Race lost the title to Tommy Rich in Augusta, Georgia on April 27th and regained the crown from Rich in Gainesville, Georgia on May the 1st. Of course, Race was invoking a clause that he wants in almost every contact, guaranteeing an immediate rematch. Sam Muchnick flatly refused to give Race this condition for the match with Missouri State King Ted DiBiase. According to Muchnick, such a condition is absolutely ridiculous, and that is a direct quote from promoter Sam Muchnick. Not that Muchnick would not give a dethroned champion a rematch with the new title holder, but it's just that Muchnick feels his hands should not be tied as to the date, and that he feels a new champion has a right to get a chance to settle in before he squares off once more with the man he knocked off the throne. So, if DiBiase takes the gold belt from Race, Harley's going to have to wait for any chance to remove DiBiase, and in fact may have to earn the right to a rematch. Race forced Huber to the ropes. Huber tried to turn him. Harley, very strong, keeps Huber on those ropes, scored with a knee lift. Huber, though, grabs the head of the champion. Race keeping Huber on those ropes, leaning into him. That's something that is very much underestimated about Harley Race, is his power. He has unbelievable natural strength. If he stays on top of someone and can get the right leverage, I think he can put anybody down with just pure muscle. And Huber, with some muscle of his own, blocks the side suplex and scores with a side suplex of his own on Race. Huber pulling back on the head of Race, and Race groans out, no, he will not submit to Chuck Riley. To me, in a decisive fall, it's almost unthinkable to believe that Harley Race would give up if it meant the gold belt. It could happen, I guess, if there was enough damage done, but it would take a tremendous amount of punishment to beat that man down, Harley Race. I don't think there's ever been a tougher champion. Ted DiBiase knows it, and he's willing to do what he has to break that man, to break Harley Race, to take the title from Race. DiBiase knows what a chore it is. There is the gold belt. There is what it's all about, the biggest prize in wrestling. That belt, symbolic of the world title, a world title that dates back to people like Frank Gotch and Jimmy Londas and Strangler Lewis and Joe Stecker and John Pesek, and more recently people like Lou Thez and Buddy Rogers and Whipper Billy Watson and Pat O'Connor and Gene Kiniski, and most recently the man who has it now, Harley Race. That's what everybody wants, the gold belt. It's Race's now. Ted DiBiase wants it. Race trying to bear hug Huber while Huber holds the side headlock. Harley again using his weight and size to push Huber to the ropes. Huber thrown away by the champion. Oh, Race tries a drop kick that misses. Huber outmaneuvering the champ. A drop kick right to the forehead by Huber. Right on the money. Body slam from Huber. Race bouncing from the force of that body slam. Side headlock, and down goes Race again. So far, an absolutely brilliant effort from Spike Huber. You couldn't ask for more from Spike Huber, using his strength, using his skills, keeping himself under control, and Race is having trouble with Huber. Race grabs the hair of the referee, slaps the hand away. Spike Huber punishing the head, twisting the neck of Harley Race.
5 minutes have passed, 10 minutes left.
Watch as Huber bounces that neck around. The neck always, of course, a vulnerable point on any wrestler. If you can tire the neck, hurt the neck, Here you have that man in a lot of trouble. Huber knows it. Race rolling Huber onto his shoulders, using the tights for a bit of extra leverage. He can't keep Huber on the mat, though.
You gotta like this Spike Huber.
Oh, what an effort he gives you. I'll tell you, you talk about 110% guys. Well, Huber's a 150% guy. You never see him give less than his absolute best and a little more. Imagine what he's thinking today. Imagine how the adrenaline is pumping through his body today against the world champion. Cautious break, and then the headbutt by Race. I think Race knows how to use every part of his body as a weapon. He used a headbutt right there. A second headbutt by Race. Huber staggers down to one knee. Race going for the pile driver. Huber blocks it with a backflip. A back body drop by Spike Huber. And Race is covered by Huber. Race throws Huber off. It was worth a try. And Harley Race just looks a bit dazed right now. He's run into a buzzsaw, and the buzzsaw is named Spike Huber. Huber pulls back on Race's head. It's working for him. Naturally, he's going to go with it. Race has been able to get out of the headlock for a while, but not for long. Huber always finds a way to put him back in, and usually, after giving Race a pretty hard ride, after doing some damage to the world champion. Race, again, using that power to push Huber to the ropes. Even on his knees, he's strong. Headbutt into the abdomen by Harley Race. Race with the flying mare on Huber. Pushing that head down, lining Huber up and driving the knee into the forehead of Spike Huber. That hurts the knee, but I'll guarantee it hurts the head a lot worse. Race covers Huber. Can't keep him down. Race up first. Huber a bit dazed now. The shoes on the other foot. Reverse neck breaker by Harley Race. Talk about versatility. The world champion has it too. Race lining up Huber. Takes the rope for a bit more momentum. A second knee drop to the forehead of Huber. That crowd screaming and then just silenced as soon as that knee bangs into the head of Huber. They'd love to see Huber put Race away. Huber thrown right through the ropes and out to the concrete floor by Harley Race. Race going out after him. Race knowing he's in a dogfight, and he goes out after Spike Huber. Race pops Huber right in the mouth. Harley Race. Oh, he's lining him up for a diving headbutt on the concrete floor, and he misses. Huber roll away, and Race with a diving headbutt hit the concrete floor. Huber with an opening here. He lifts Race and pounds on the head of Race. You want a battle outside the ring? Don't forget who Huber's father-in-law is. Huber and Race roll into the ring. Race in trouble now after missing the diving headbutt and hitting the concrete floor. Huber pounds on the world champion. He covers the champion, cradles the leg. But Race, oh, is he tough. Race gets away, side headlock. Race throws Huber to the ropes. Flying tackle. Oh! Race trying to leapfrog over the top. A collision and both men going down. Huber and Race colliding right in the middle of the ring. The world champion spotting his prey, crawling towards Huber, but Huber's up. Flying tackle from Huber. Oh, he tried that flying scissors. Race stood tall, trying to block the flying scissors and cracked heads with Huber the second time in a row. They've rammed together, cracking together right in the center of the ring. What a battle this has turned into between Huber and Race. Knee lift by the world champion. Huber down. Race going outside the ring. Crawling up on the second rope. On the top rope. Huber spots him. Grabs him. Huber grabbing the world champion and throwing him into the center of the ring. Huber dives across Race. This could be it. No, Race throws off Huber. Huber again hits those ropes. Goes beneath Race. Oh, Race blocked it. Lifts Huber to the air. Pile driver. Oh, what a pile driver by Race. Race blocking Huber's move. Catching him with a tremendous pile driver. Huber trying to squirm away, but he can't do it. And Race with the pile driver. Oh, what a battle he had from Spike Huber. But Race caught Huber trying to go underneath, lifted him to the air, and scored with a vicious pile driver. Well, that's why he's the champion. Here's Mickey.
In 9 minutes and 44 seconds, the pile driver, the winner, the world heavyweight champion, Harley Race. the added attraction, most falls to curfew. Introducing from Phoenix, Arizona, weighing 236 pounds, Benny Romeo. And from Austin, Texas, weighing 265 pounds, the American Dream, former world's heavyweight champion, Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes, you asked for him, and promoter Sam Muchnick fulfills that wish. Dusty Rhodes, removing his colorful jacket. He came into the ring, went around outside the audience, kissed all the ladies, shook hands with all the men. And I'll tell you right now, he could run for mayor or president or anything he wanted to run for right here, and I think he'd be elected in a landslide. Dusty Rhodes, one of the most unique styles you're ever going to see, and Benny Romeo squares off with Dusty. Romeo pushes Rhodes to the corner. Lee Warren trying to break up Romeo, who throws a wild punch that misses. Rhodes had that big elbow up there ready to bang it into Romeo's head, and Romeo dived out of the ring. Dusty Rhodes, very strong, a lot of power there. We talked about versatility in the ring with people like Harley Race and Ted DiBiase. Well, I'll tell you, Dusty Rhodes has some versatility of his own in all sports. When he was a youngster, he was signed by the New York Mets and played 1 year of minor league baseball. He also played a year of pro football with the New England Patriots. But wrestling was always his love, and this West Texas State graduate finally ended up in wrestling, and you know what he's done. Box office magic throughout the South and East. He drops Romeo, body drop right into the thigh, then Dusty scissors the ankle of Benny Romeo. Dusty twisting that ankle of Romeo. Romeo reached for the hair of Dusty Rhodes. There is one big, tough man. Is he the most colorful in wrestling? Could be. Can you imagine what it'll be like when he walks into the ring with Dick the Bruiser as his partner, and on the opposite side is the world's strongest man, Ken Patera, and a guy who thinks he's the most colorful, the most flamboyant, Nature Boy Ric Flair? That boggles the mind. Think of that. Rhodes and the Bruiser on the same team.
We're ready. 5 minutes left. 5 minutes.
5 minutes remain in the curfew. Whichever man has the most falls discredit when time runs out will be the winner. Dusty pulls Romeo to the center of the ring, then a standing leg split by Dusty Rhodes on Benny Romeo. There's a gentleman who would love to have that gold belt around his waist. Regardless of who has the title, Ted DiBiase or Harley Race. Don't forget that Rhodes had the crown for about a week, and he too was a victim of that immediate rematch clause that Harley Race insists on in so many matches. Rhodes went into the rematch with Race after defeating Race with an arm injury. He really shouldn't have wrestled, but Rhodes wanted to fulfill his contract. He went in injured, and Race, always the opportunist, took advantage of it. And Harley Race regained the crown from Dusty Rhodes, but now Rhodes has had a taste of the gold belt. He wants another crack at the crown. Whether it's Race, whether it's DiBiase, whether it's Flair, whether it's Patera, whether it's the Bruiser, Dusty Rhodes doesn't care. Anything he has to do, anybody he has to beat, anyone he has to go through, he'll do it. Rhodes keeping the pressure on that ankle and that leg, punishing the leg of Benny Romeo. Romeo pulling back on the chin of Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes again twists that knee. And of course it bears repeating that Sam Muchnick has absolutely refused, totally rejected the idea of an immediate rematch clause for the bout between Race and DiBiase. So Race really has his back against the wall. Rhodes pounded to the corner by Benny Romeo, and Rhodes drives that elbow to the top of Romeo's head. A hard jab, and Dusty Rhodes starts flailing away at Benny Romeo. You want a battle? Rhodes does it, and he does it with flair, I should say. Rhodes again with that body drop into the thigh, and then scissors the ankle. A cut opened up between the eyes, over the right eye of Dusty Rhodes. An old wound, I'll tell you. Dusty's been through the wars. He likes a Donnybrook as much as anyone. He and the Bruisers should get along wonderfully. You can see all the battle scars on the head of Dusty Rhodes. Well, that's the price you pay sometimes when you're right at the top of the heap, when you draw the big money, when you're in the top matches, the lucrative matches. And Rhodes backs down from nobody. In which case, he should be very happy in that giant 18-man Wrestle Royal, the biggest Wrestle Royal ever in St. Louis. And the first time a Wrestle Royal has ever been on the same card as a World Championship match. 18 men in the ring at once. Think of that. People like Rhodes, Bruiser, Patera, Flair, Dick Murdoch, Kerry Von Erich, Rocky Johnson, Jack Briscoe, Bobby Heenan, Bulldog Bob Brown, Rufus R. Jones, Spike Huber, so many more. All 18 in the ring at once. A man eliminated when he is thrown over the top rope. The sole survivor in the ring, the winner. That is an all-star lineup. That's an understatement. You talk about the people that'll be in that Royal. There's the standing leg split again by Dusty Rhodes on Benny Romeo. I wonder what would happen if it came down to Rhodes and the Bruiser, the last two men in that ring. Think about that. What would happen if it came down to Patera and Flair? Or Flair and Murdoch? Or Jack Briscoe and Dusty Rhodes? Oh, look at all those combinations that could come down if the last 2 or 3 men, all 18 in the ring at once.
2 minutes left, 2 minutes.
Romeo throws a punch to the head of Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes trying to concentrate on scientific wrestling against Romeo. Only once that Dusty's had to resort to Donnybrook style against Romeo to teach him a lesson. But right now, it looks like Romeo wants to pound on Rhodes. He has to protect that leg. He's had a lot of trouble with the leg thanks to Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes slashes right back at Benny Romeo. The American Dream, as they call him, pounds on Romeo. That cut trickling blood down the nose of Dusty Rhodes once more. Well, Romeo started it, but Dusty Rhodes pounding on him may finish it. He hooks the head underneath, and the suplex by Dusty Rhodes on Benny Romeo. The suplex on Romeo, count of 2, and Romeo gets that shoulder up.
1 minute left, 1 minute.
Rhodes with a side saddle suplex on Benny Romeo. Rhodes covers Romeo again. Count of 1, 2. Romeo gets that shoulder off. He's trying to hang in there. The curfew time running out. Romeo trying to hang in, and Rhodes trying to finish him off. Oh, the elbow smash right to the jaw. Clotheslining Romeo. Dusty backs up. What have we here? The flying elbow drop. Oh, he smashes Romeo right into the mat, and Romeo's not getting up from that one. The flying elbow drop, riveting Benny Romeo right to the canvas. We check the clock. That's going to be it. The only fall within the curfew. Dusty Rhodes has it, and Dusty Rhodes is the winner. Here's Mickey.
With time running out, the winner of the only fall and the match, the American Dream, former world champion, Dusty Rhodes.
Nobody is quite like Dusty Rhodes, just one of the stars on Wrestling at the Chase today. Hello, I'm Larry Matisick. There's only one way to describe it. Dusty Rhodes has charisma. With every move he makes, with every victory he records, he does it in a style so unique, well, it could only belong to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. No wonder he's box office magic from coast to coast and one of the top contenders for the World Heavyweight Championship. Dusty Rhodes, here today on Wrestling at the Chase, and action begins following these messages.
Welcome to Wrestling at the Chase, the opening bout, a 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing, from Union City, Tennessee, weighing 242 pounds, David Oswald. From Austin, Texas, weighing 266 pounds, the American Dream, former world's heavyweight champion, Dusty Rhodes. Referee Chuck Raleigh.
Dusty Rhodes tangled with David Oswald. How's that to open our wrestling program? Rhodes, the American Dream, Stardust himself, circles Oswald. Throws Oswald a little off balance just by making a few moves, a few feints. Shoves Oswald back. Oswald takes a long look at Dusty. They tie up. Flying mare by Rhodes. He pulls back on the chin with a chin lock. Dusty Rhodes twisting the head of David Oswald. Squeezing it. Those big forearms across the cheekbone and underneath the jawbone. Pulling the head together. Oswald has difficulty escaping from that position. Rhodes so strong, good balance on one knee, over the top, pulling back on that head. Oswald forced forward, and now it's a front face lock by Dusty Rhodes on David Oswald. Oswald stretched, his neck stretched out by Dusty Rhodes. Reaching inside, trying to break the grip of Dusty. Breaks the hold, twists the arm. Rhodes counters nicely. Flying mare again. And right back where he started is David Oswald. Compliments of Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes turns that head, putting pressure to the side of the neck. Dusty, a lot of pressure right along the jawbone right now. Oswald gets to his feet. Rhodes pulls back on that head. Oswald grabs the hair of Rhodes. Knee lift to the stomach by David Oswald. A forearm smash across the back of Dusty Rhodes by David Oswald. Rhodes fights right back in the big elbow smash. Dumps David Oswald. Dusty slams that forearm into the chest, knocking the wind out of Oswald and ending up at the same time with that head and chin lock, pulling back on the head. Let's get him, says the Big D, Dusty Rhodes. Oswald forced over onto his side by the pressure being applied by Rhodes. Rhodes goes to the head scissors on David Oswald. Oswald trying to kick out. Rhodes squeezing that head on Oswald. Rhodes makes Oswald cry out. Oh, says Dusty Rhodes, that was good. We made him hurt. Let's do it again, says Dusty Rhodes. Squeezing that neck. Dusty Rhodes, I'll tell you, he is tough. He has a mean streak in him, and he certainly has color. When he gets rolling, those arms start flying, the legs begin flailing. Well, there's nobody quite like him. Whoops, says Rhodes, as Oswald tries to turn around, get in position to pop that head out. Rhodes squeezing tightly as much as he can, but Oswald lifted in the air by Dusty for one reason, so that Dusty can bounce Oswald right on top of the noggin. He didn't give Oswald a chance to get that knee into position on Rhodes' ankle so that Oswald could come out of the head scissors. Oswald trying to reach out with those legs for the ropes. Not quite close enough. Oswald gets his foot on the ropes. The referee not too terribly impressed, but Rhodes breaks cleanly. He knew the man was close enough to the ropes, he'd be entangled. Dusty ties up with Oswald. Oswald pushes Rhodes into the corner. And Oswald gouges the eyes of Rhodes. Oswald with a forearm smash to Dusty Rhodes' back. Another forearm smash from Oswald. He hits the ropes. Flying tackle. Rhodes stands his ground. Rhodes waiting, and he clotheslines Oswald. Rhodes flying off the rope. Giant elbow drop by Dusty Rhodes. Bang, bang, bang. Down goes Oswald. He's cradled. And Dusty Rhodes has a victory. I mean, just like that. Pow, like a rocket. The beautiful air-conditioned Checker Dome plays host to one of the greatest wrestling cards in St. Louis history, Friday, June 12th. Harley Race protects the World Heavyweight Championship and gold belt against Missouri State King Ted DiBiase in the main event, June 12th. All of the other 18 standouts on the lineup tangle in a colossal Wrestle Royal. The Dream Duo, Dick the Bruiser and Dusty Rhodes, takes on strongman Ken Patera and Nature Boy Ric Flair. Dick Murdoch battles Kerry Von Erich. Dylan and Jaggers meet Bulldog Brown and Rocky Johnson. Jack Briscoe and Bobby Heenan clash. Sweetan and Lewis duel Gibbs and Jones. Huber faces Lawler. Tickets are on sale at the Arcade Building and the Checker Dome. The prices are $7, $6, $5, $4, and $3. Send mail orders now to the St. Louis Wrestling Club, Mezzanine 10 Arcade Building, St. Louis 63101. For thrills galore, be at the air-conditioned Checker Dome Friday, June 12th. Race squares off with DiBiase. For all the color that surrounds Dusty Rhodes, I think really in the back of Dusty Rhodes' mind, there's one thing that counts most. And that's eventually getting back into the ring and having a crack at the gold belt. And I guess this is the town to come to try and get to that goal, Dusty.
You know, the American Dream be traveling all over the world, you understand? There is no finer place than right here. There's no finer group of people than right here. Now, Ric Flair can come out here and talking about how ugly the women are. Well, that ain't it, baby. That ain't it. Me and the Bruiser gonna get real funky. We gonna get real funky with Ric Flair and Ken Patera.
You know, that's the world's strongest man and a guy who's pretty tough despite his fancy robes and blonde hair.
That's right. They both tough, respected. They tough and hard to bluff. But the American Dream, let me tell you something. The big Wrestle Raw, Ted DiBiase, you got the chance of a lifetime. I have worn the gold. I know what it's like to wear the gold. And whether Ted DiBiase wins or whether Harley Race wins, it don't matter. Dusty Rhodes is for here for one reason, and that's to put that big gold strap around my beautiful body. You understand what I'm talking about?
Dusty, you mentioned the Wrestle Royal. Of course, you're going to be a partner with the Bruiser earlier in the evening. What happens in that Royal if it comes down to you and Dick the Bruiser as the last two men in the ring?
Dick the Bruiser is a legend. So all that has to be done when we win the Wrestle Royal is I'll just split the money with him and we'll go out and get parted down because I have in these two fists, these fists are like lightning bolts flashing from the sky. My legs are like electrified fusion. I wear Afro sheen on my hair. I don't care if you're black, white, brown, green, or yellow. You all can get off on Dusty Rhodes because I never had a dang thing until I went out and tried and reached for a dream. Now I'm here to stay. I did not come to play.
And I guess that means that all the people like Flair and Patera and Race and DiBiase better look out.
I'm going to leave you with this. Daddy. Harley Race, Ted DiBiase, think about it real hard. Because whichever one wins, you're going to turn around and you're going to see Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, the last surviving hero, the meanest man you ever seen, looking you in the eye because St. Louis and the area has just got a great, brand new, big love affair going with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and it's going to be a funky situation.
Dusty Rhodes. Can you imagine him and Dick the Bruiser as partners? That will be something.
The first main event, a one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Knoxville, Tennessee, weighing 230 pounds, Ron Sexton. From Kansas City, Missouri, weighing 254 pounds, World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race. Referee Lee Warren.
The world champion, Harley Race, squares off with Ron Sexton. And everybody in the studio is still buzzing about what Dusty Rhodes did and about what Dusty Rhodes had to say. I'll tell you one thing I got out of it, and I think he's absolutely correct. There's a big love affair starting between Dusty Rhodes and all the many thousands of fans that enjoy wrestling because Dusty Rhodes is just something different, something special, something unique. And I'm sure that Harley Race in the ring now against Ron Sexton and Ted DiBiase will be squaring off for the World Heavyweight Championship. Know full well that Dusty Rhodes is going to be right there staring one of them in the eye. Of course, it's going to be a little bit crowded because there's going to be people like Ric Flair and Ken Patera and Dick the Bruiser and Rocky Johnson and Jack Briscoe and Kerry Von Erich and Dick Murdoch and so many more staring whoever has that gold belt in the eye. You can bet on it. Of course, you know Ted DiBiase is the Missouri State Champion, and it bears mentioning that if Ted DiBiase, as you watch Race slam Sexton, if Ted DiBiase dethrones Race as the world champion, Sexton, let's race for a body slam. Well, tit for tat from Ron Sexton. Arm drag by Sexton. If Race is knocked off the world throne by Ted DiBiase, DiBiase will have to relinquish the Missouri State title. The Missouri crown would then be vacant, and promoter Sam Muchnick would probably come up with a tournament of some sort involving a number of top wrestlers to fill that vacancy, to come up with a new Missouri State champion. I don't think I'll ask Harley Race if he would be in that tournament. I'm sure Race would say, I have no intention of needing to be in any tournament. Race throws Sexton away. Flying tackle. Oh, he doesn't get to deliver it because Race had that knee up in the air and drops Sexton with a high knee lift. Race, such a savvy ring general. Always knows where he is, what he's doing. Race yanks Sexton down to the mat, slamming him backwards and down. Race lining up Sexton, who took a hard spill. Knee drop right to the head by Race on Sexton. Sexton rolling in misery after taking that hard knee right to the forehead. Race drives Sexton head first into the top turnbuckle. Race pushing Sexton into that corner. Hard left cross by the World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race. He's right up there in the class with people like Strangler Lewis and Luthez when it comes to winning that gold belt. There aren't many who have been better, if any. Atomic knee drop by Race on Ron Sexton, jamming the tailbone down into his own knee. That will make that entire backbone tingle. Race covers Sexton. Sexton throws Race off. Race in early command against Sexton. Sexton tries to retreat, but the world champion's right on top of him. Harley Race looking sharp and tough and mean today. He's pounding on Sexton. A punch to the head knocks Sexton through the ropes and out of the ring. Sexton knocked right out of the ring by the world champion Harley Race. You talk about tough, you start with the world champion Harley Race. Race outside the ring after Sexton. Race grabs Sexton, and he tried to shove Sexton into that ring post. Sexton, though, pushed Race forward, and it was Race who collided with the steel ring post. A good move, maybe made in desperation by Sexton, but it buys him some time, and now Sexton trying to get to Race while Race tries to regain his bearings outside the ring. Maybe Mr. Race got a bit too cocky against Sexton, started to count him out when Ron Sexton still had plenty of spunk and fire left. Race bides his time getting back into that ring. He caught that post right in the shoulder. Loosens the shoulder up. Waits for Sexton to come to him. Sexton reaches inside and catches Race with a forearm smash. A second one. A third forearm smash by Ron Sexton. A knee lift. And down goes Race. Flying elbow drop by Sexton. He covers the world champion. Sexton thrown off by Race. And then Sexton hooks the arm of the world champion. Sexton twisting back on the left arm of Harley Race. There's a guy who came up the hard way. He's the exception that proves the rule, really, because so many guys now in professional wrestling are coming out of college with that tremendous 8-9 year amateur background, starting way back in high school, even junior high school. But Race came up the hard way. He was wrestling professionally when he was just a teenager. He took his lumps. Believe me, nobody took more beatings than Harley Race did in the first 4 or 5 years of his career. But slowly, surely, he learned the business. He learned what he could do. He learned what his body could take, and that body got harder every time out.
5 minutes have expired, 5 minutes left.
Today, I doubt there's anything that can happen inside a wrestling ring that hasn't happened to Race or he hasn't made happen. Side saddle suplex by Harley Race. He's been through the mill. He's paid his dues. And that's why that gold belt is so valuable to him. Ted DiBiase knows what it means to Harley Race as Race locks both arms of Sexton behind him and then takes him to the air with a suplex. The double arm suplex by Harley Race. Race lines up Sexton, poises that knee and bangs it into the head of Sexton. That is such a potent weapon of Harley Race. And of course you see things that Race started, that Race was the first to do, and many other wrestlers have copied. Some do it maybe as well, but none do it better than Harley Race. And there he is with Sexton up in the air. The suplex, poising him, making sure that he has full balance, full might, and he crashes Sexton backwards with that suplex. The world champion covers Sexton. Sexton isn't going anywhere. Harley Race pounding down and putting away Ron Sexton in fine fashion. He looks sharp. He is ready. Ted DiBiase, take note. That man is ready to defend the gold belt with his whole heart and being. Here's Mickey.
In 6 minutes and 2 seconds with the suplex, the winner, World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race. The second main event, an Australian tag team match. 2 out of 3 falls with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing from Newark, New Jersey, weighing 240 pounds, J.J. Dillon. From Phoenix, Arizona, weighing 235 pounds, Benny Romeo. From Omaha, Nebraska, weighing 247 pounds, Missouri State Champion Ted DiBiase. From Indianapolis, Indiana, weighing 236 pounds, Spike Hubert.
It's J.J. Dillon and Benny Romeo against Spike Huber and Ted DiBiase in a best-of-3 falls battle.
Boy, I don't know what corner you're supposed to go to.
Huber begins the action against J.J. Dillon. Huber and Dillon very cautious. Huber reaching out. Dillon hooks his head, pulls him to him. Very cautious break again. Huber and Dillon looking for opening on each other. Huber gives Dillon a shove. Dillon goes behind Spike. Spike switches nicely. He's behind Dillon. Dillon trying to sit out. He goes for the double wrist lock. Can't get it. Tried to hook that arm, just couldn't do it. Huber scooted away. Tag made to Benny Romeo. Romeo and Huber tie up. Nice takedown by Spike. Tries to cradle Romeo. Romeo gets to the ropes, and Chuck Riley asks for a break. Gets a clean one from Spike Huber. Romeo once more tries to tie up, but he doesn't get the chance because Huber puts him down with an arm drag. Makes a tag to the Missouri State King, Ted DiBiase. DiBiase pulling back on the arm of Romeo. Romeo pushes DiBiase to the ropes. Flying tackle by Ted DiBiase. Arm drag by Ted. He looks sharp. You know, we talked about how much the gold belt means to Harley Race. I think what it means to Ted DiBiase. Remember, his father, his late father, Mike DiBiase, was a national AAU champion, and he was the world junior heavyweight title. Mike DiBiase died in the ring. And I think at that time, more than ever, Ted DiBiase, who was just a teenager, dedicated himself to someday honoring his father's memory by having the gold belt, by being the world heavyweight champion, by being number one. And in that way, there is no better way that Ted could honor his father than to have that gold belt. Harley Race stands in the way. DiBiase has gone through Nature Boy Ric Flair, through Ox Baker, through Big John Studd, through Buzz Tyler, through the Kelly twins, through so many more to get where he is. And of course, you saw last week what happened the last time that DiBiase and Race were in a ring together. You saw how Ted DiBiase thought he was the world heavyweight champion, and only a fluke, a freak, a bizarre circumstance, and a totally unexpected happening saved the title for Harley Race, because he had thrown DiBiase over the top rope when the original referee was knocked out of the ring. The second referee came to the ring as DiBiase put Race's shoulders down on the mat and counted 3. He hit 3 just when the original referee called for the bell, meaning the match was a disqualification. DiBiase won the match, but Race kept the title due to a long-standing rule dating back into the 1930s that the champion cannot lose the title belt on a disqualification in the deciding fall. That stemmed from a match between Henri Deglane and Strangler Lewis in Montreal, Canada, when the title did change hands on a disqualification. There was such a furor about it and about the officiating and everything else that eventually the rule was changed. The title cannot change hands on disqualification in the final fall. It doesn't happen very often, very, very seldom, in fact. It saved Harley Race that night. Ted DiBiase intends to make no mistakes the next time he has Race in that ring. He wants to put Race away and walk out with wrestling's biggest prize. Flying tackle by DiBiase. A second flying tackle levels Dillon. Dillon ducks underneath. Oh, he was waiting. He was going to try to catch DiBiase by surprise, but Ted didn't give him the chance and scored with an arm drag. DiBiase twists that arm around, putting pressure into the wrist. Romeo from outside the ring yells encouragement to his partner, J.J. Dillon. Elbow smash into the shoulder by DiBiase. Tag made. Here comes Spike Huber. Huber and DiBiase working very smoothly together. Number of tags, trying to help their partner, have him in a good position when he comes into the ring. Huber taking advantage of that. He yanks J.J. Dillon down and comes up with an arm stretch on Dillon. Spike Huber stretching out on the arm of J.J. Dillon. Dillon trying to stand up and come out of the arm stretch. Dillon stepping over and uses his boot across the forehead of Huber. Oh, Huber shaking a bit from that attack to his face. Here comes Romeo with a forearm smash. Romeo pounding away on Huber. Arm locked by Romeo. Twists that arm around. Huber tries to pull away. Romeo doggedly hangs in there. Huber kicks Romeo off.
5 minutes have expired, 15 minutes left.
Good thinking right there by Spike Huber. He tagged the fresh man, Ted DiBiase, and DiBiase goes to work on Benny Romeo, dropping him with an elbow. DiBiase lifts Romeo, body slam by the Missouri State King. Flying elbow drop by DiBiase on Romeo. Count of 1, DiBiase thrown away. And then he hooks the arm of Benny Romeo, trying to ride him down. There are bitter feelings, needless to say, between DiBiase and Race, and I'll tell you some other bitter feelings we should mention are those that are between Kerry Von Erich and Dick Murdoch. You know, Murdoch and Von Raschke pulled off something of an upset recently when they defeated David and Kerry Von Erich, and Kerry Von Erich blames himself completely for that setback. During a squabble inside the ring, Kerry was the outside man. He jumped in, blew his top, lost his temper. The referees tried to force him back, and while they were doing that, Murdoch took advantage of the distraction to jump off the top rope onto David Von Erich and to pin David Von Erich. Kerry blamed himself afterwards, and according to Kerry, he has some bills to pay. One debt to his brother David for causing a distraction that put David in a very vulnerable position, which Murdoch took advantage of. And some other debt, another debt has to be paid to Dick Murdoch by Kerry Von Erich, because as far as Kerry's concerned, Murdoch deliberately tried to injure his brother, and he feels there are some amends to be made there to Mr. Murdoch. The only thing Kerry has to be careful of is that he doesn't lose his temper when he's in there with Dick Murdoch, because if the match turns into a brawl, a back alley, knock him down, drag him out Donnybrook, well, that's the kind of match that Dick Murdoch likes. There's a lot at stake there, because either one of them would make a fine challenger for either the World Heavyweight or the Missouri State title. Nice takedown by Spike Huber, pitching Romeo to the mat. Huber pulls back on the arm, goes to the double wrist lock on Romeo. Romeo reaching up behind Huber. He was close to the hair. Huber twisting that arm. He can almost go to a hammerlock from there, or he can stay in the double wrist lock. He uses the elbow and shifts around an arm lock. That's it, Spike. Make a liar out of me. But it shows how many different holds you can do from one position. Spike Huber taking advantage of that fact, not letting Romeo set himself. Romeo, knowing he was having some trouble, began pounding on Huber, and now he tags J.J. Dillon and sets Huber up for Dillon. Dillon pounding on Huber. Dillon with a punch to the jaw. Forearm smash by Huber, but then Dillon works on the face. Huber tries to get to DiBiase. Dillon cuts him off. Dillon lifts Huber. Hard body slam from J.J. Dillon. He covers Huber. Oh, Dillon bench pressed off the top by Spike Huber. Tag made to Benny Romeo. Romeo pulls Huber to the corner and slams Huber head first into the turnbuckle. DiBiase steps into the ring, wants to come over and help his partner. The outside referee, Lee Warren, chases DiBiase back where he belongs. Here comes J.J. Dillon into the ring, a hard kick from Dillon. Dillon on the neck of Huber with that elbow. A punch to the mouth of Spike Huber by J.J. Dillon. Dillon lifts Huber. Huber skips behind him and tags Ted DiBiase. DiBiase comes into the ring and he tears into J.J. Dillon. Flying Veal by the Missouri State champion. Drop kick by Ted DiBiase. DiBiase with a flying mare on J.J. Dillon. Oh, knee drop across the chest. If it had been the throat, it would have been an automatic disqualification, but it was right on the chest. It was legal. DiBiase catches Romeo coming off. Falling body slam. DiBiase with a spinning toe hold. And into the figure four leg lock. The figure four leg lock by Ted DiBiase on Benny Romeo. Yanking back, jerking on the ligaments and the cartilage. Romeo crying out in pain. The same figure four leg lock that put Ken Batera in the hospital for knee surgery. And it records the first fall of this match for the team of Ted DiBiase and Spike Huber against J.J. Dillon and Benny Romeo. Let's hear the time from Mickey Garagiola.
The winner of the first fall in 9 minutes and 4 seconds with a figure four, the team of Ted DiBiase and Spike Huber.
Benny Romeo, who was caught in that figure four leg lock to end the first fall, seems to be having some problem with his knee. J.J. Dillon tried to work on the knee during the rest period, and Bobby Jaggers has come out to ringside. Jaggers holding on to the leg of Benny Romeo. That knee, well, I'll tell you, that figure four leg lock has put a lot of people into hospitals. There's no question about that. It happened to Ken Batera. Dillon charges after DiBiase. J.J. Dillon pounding on Ted DiBiase. And Romeo obviously can't continue. He's on one leg, and Bobby Jaggers helping carry Romeo out of the ring. Romeo being carried back to the dressing room, and J.J. Dillon is by himself against Ted DiBiase and Spike Huber. DiBiase drops Dillon with a kick. Don't forget, it's a best-of-3 falls match. DiBiase and Huber have already won one fall, and that figure four leg lock can do the damage. Ask Ken Batera, now you can ask Benny Romeo. Drop kick by DiBiase on Dillon. Dillon looking for a partner, and he hasn't got one. He reached out to make a tag, but there was nobody to tag. He's on his own, alone against Ted DiBiase and Spike Huber. Here comes Huber. Body slam by Huber on J.J. Dillon. Huber covers Dillon. Count of one. Dillon throws Huber off. And again, there's that empty corner. Dillon looking for a tag. The crowd hoots and hollers. We now have a handicap tag match. That's what it comes down to. Dillon says he's tough. We'll find out. And here comes Harley Race. Race coming down to ringside. He's walking around the ring. He's yelling something to Dillon. I think he was, but I'll be your partner, says Harley Race. The referee's chasing Race out. He's got no business in there. The referee's telling Race he has no business in the ring. Benny Romeo, Dillon's original partner, was injured. Huber charging after Dillon. Oh, Race grabbing Huber from outside the ring, dumps him. Now the referees go outside the ring trying to chase him back. Dillon on his own against Huber and DiBiase. Tag made to DiBiase. Race arguing with Lee Warren outside the ring. Here comes Sam Muchnick down to ringside. And Sam Muchnick going after Race to try and get Harley Race out of there. Sam and Harley Race to the far corner of the ring. Maybe we can get a shot of him. Race yelling at Muchnick. I'm sure he's complaining about why Dillon should have to be alone. Why should he have to be in a handicap tag match just because his partner is injured? Muchnick said okay. Sam Muchnick approving Harley Race to be the partner of J.J. Dillon. I assume that's what happened. Yes, he said okay. Lee Warren nodding. Race, okay. Race is the partner of J.J. Dillon. DiBiase taking his lumps, and there's a tag made to Harley Race. Dillon thrown away. I don't know if DiBiase knows Race is in there. Oh, Dillon! Dillon crashes right into Harley Race, knocking him right over the top rope. There's DiBiase going for the figure four leg lock. DiBiase with the figure four on J.J. Dillon. DiBiase, who's already crippled Benny Romeo, with the figure four leg lock on Dillon. Here comes Race on the top rope. Race on the top rope. Diving headbutt from the top rope by Harley Race. The referees call for the bell, and I'm sure that Race has been disqualified for diving onto Ted DiBiase from the top rope. DiBiase sees Race there, and DiBiase is after Race. DiBiase is after Race. DiBiase pounding on the world champion. He knocks Race through the ropes and onto the apron. DiBiase after Race outside slams him head first into the steel ring post. Ted looked up and saw that Race was on that top rope. Race diving off the top rope to get DiBiase. Race is bleeding. Race is bleeding. DiBiase has pounded open the head of Harley Race. Race is bleeding. Ted DiBiase shoves the referee away, knocks Riley down. DiBiase pounding on the world champion. DiBiase whips Race to the rope. Catches him coming off with a backflip. Race has already been disqualified. The match is officially over. But Race going after taking a battering from DiBiase again. Race knocked clear over the top rope by Ted DiBiase. DiBiase, a man possessed, when he saw Race come off the top rope. Clearly an attempt to injure Ted DiBiase. It backfired on Race. Oh, Race head first into the steel ring post by the Missouri champion, Ted DiBiase. Race has been injured by DiBiase. Race getting pounded. Look out. Race. DiBiase trying to be restrained by Huber, Warren, and Chuck Riley. DiBiase pounding Race right out of the building, running him clear back to the dressing room. Race wanted to be the partner for J.J. Dillon after Romeo was hurt. He was knocked out of the ring. DiBiase got the figure four on the world champion. The world champion dived off the top rope. Here comes Pat O'Connor down to try and help calm DiBiase. O'Connor, of course, the assistant to promoter Sam Muchnick. O'Connor trying to calm DiBiase and Huber. Well, you saw it. The official verdict is that Race was disqualified for jumping off the top rope. The winners of the match then in two straight falls are DiBiase and Huber. And here's Mickey going to make the official announcement. DiBiase and Huber win it in two straight falls. Here's Mickey.
In 2 minutes and 50 seconds, referee Chuck Riley disqualifies Race. So the winner of the two falls and the match, Missouri State champion Ted DiBiase and Spike Huber.
Bearings, and look again at what just happened. There's Harley Race outside the ring with promoter Sam Muchnick after J.J. Dillon's original partner had been injured by the figure 4 leg lock of DiBiase. Sam Muchnick approved Race to go in the ring as Dillon's partner. Dillon was by himself, 2 against 1. Certainly not a fair situation. He hadn't requested any handicap tag match, and naturally, Dillon wanted a partner. Race saw what had happened. He saw who had put the man out of commission. Naturally, he came down and offered his help. There was the tag made to Race. Dillon thrown off the ropes. DiBiase over the top, and Dillon crashing right into Race, knocking Race over the top rope. DiBiase not realizing, I guess, that Race was the legal man in the ring. Obviously, he didn't. He didn't see the tag. He goes for the figure 4 leg lock on Dillon. If he can keep Dillon in that figure 4 and make him submit, it'd be 2 straight falls. But look at the top of your screen. There goes Harley Race. He sees what's happening, and from the top rope, he's not worried about disqualification here. He's trying to hurt Ted DiBiase with that diving headbutt. The referees call for the bell, the disqualification. DiBiase, looking at what's happened, he throws the referee aside. He realizes now what Race has tried to do, and he tears into Harley Race. Ted DiBiase pounding on the world champion, knocking him through the ropes. DiBiase crawling right out after Harley Race. The match is officially over. Race asked for this, Donnybrook, apparently. That's the way DiBiase looked at it, by Race diving off the top rope. And DiBiase going right after Race, not backing up an inch, not backing up a bit. He pounds on Race, and it was about there that you'll be able to see the blood coming out of the forehead of Race, because DiBiase was pounding on that head. DiBiase waiting for Race to get up. There goes the referee, knocked aside and down by the anger, the infuriated Ted DiBiase, pounding on the world champion's head. Watch as Race spins around in slow motion. You can see the blood, the cut open up on Race's head. DiBiase whipping him to the ropes, backflipping him high into the air. Race staggering around. DiBiase just a man possessed, a man intent, a man determined to go after the world champion, knocking Race out of the ring over the top rope. DiBiase they're still not able to stop him, still not able to restrain him. DiBiase going outside the ring, grabbing Race by the hair and lining him up with that steel ring post. There's still blood all over the post now where Race's head banged into that post. DiBiase just infuriated, out of control, teaching Harley Race a lesson right here, pounding on him outside the ring, slamming him into the table, dismantling ringside, still pounding on Race, and there goes Race heading for the dressing room. The referee's trying to restrain DiBiase.
For the record, here's what happened at the Checker Dome before over 16,000 fans on June 12, 1981. Spike Huber flattened Steve Lawler. Rufus R. Jones and Terry Gibbs won from Gene Lewis and Bob Sweetan. Jack Briscoe defeated Bobby Heenan. Rocky Johnson and Bulldog Bob Brown took the measure of J.J. Dillon and Buzz Tyler. Dick Murdoch and Kerry Von Erich were both counted out outside the ring. Dick the Bruiser and Dusty Rhodes won by disqualification from Ken Patera and Ric Flair. Pat O'Connor was the surprise winner of an 18-man battle royal, and Harley Race retained the World Heavyweight Championship by winning a sensational 2 out of 3 falls duel from Ted DiBiase. What a night it was. Even more action is on tap with Volume 7 of Classic St. Louis Wrestling. David Von Erich versus Harley Race. Kerry Von Erich versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. Ken Patera versus Dewey Robertson. Bulldog Bob Brown versus Von Raschke. Plus Jack Briscoe, Bobo Brazil, Spike Huber, Rocky Johnson, and more. Every time out, Classic St. Louis Wrestling proves why St. Louis was so special in the wrestling world. Wasn't it great? Till next time, so long. This is Larry Matysik saying goodbye.
Brody, Dory Jr., both masks of blood. Brody and Dory Jr. Forearm uppercuts by Dory Funk Jr. Kikuchi trying to get everybody back. Dory Jr. pounding on Brody. Here's his opening. Wild punches by Dory Jr. and by Brody. Oh, that blow landed on Dory Jr. and on Joe Higuchi. Small package by Dory Funk Jr. to try for the pin. Where's the referee? Here comes Higuchi. Count of 2, and Brody breaks free. Both men bleeding, the blood all over the ring. Dory Jr.